Hello everyone, welcome to Glitterati Talks, where the spotlight meets the soul. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Kelly Kitchens. Kelly is a media relations publicist. Kelly,
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you, Sabrina.
So tell us a little bit more about your background and who you were before you became a publicist.
Okay, so I was a journalist before I became a publicist. And I started being a journalist in high school when I was on the yearbook staff. I loved being on yearbook staff. I got to meet everybody it wasn't like, all the cliques in school. It didn't matter. I got to talk to everybody from, the sports people, the jocks, to the kickers, to everybody in between. And it was, I was just like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm meant to be doing. Mm-hmm. And so I went to University of North Texas and was a journalism major. And at that time, went to my advisor it was my junior year, my second semester, my junior year. And he said, I knew I wanted to go into fashion and film, and I wanted to talk about that sort of thing. That was what I wanted to be as a journalist. And he was like, no, you're not taking a feature writing course, you're taking hard news. And I was like, no, I can't do that. Mm-hmm. And so I left being a journalism major and went to being an English major. Mm-hmm. But as soon as I did that, I got my first job as a journalist. Okay. And so that was a paper that came out at SMU called The Student Voice. And when he wanted to bring it up to North Texas, I was looking through it and I was like, okay, this is all about sororities and fraternities. Mm-hmm. I said, that won't fly at North Texas. Mm-hmm. I said, you've got to talk about music. Mm-hmm. You've got to talk about theater. You got to talk about art. And the publisher, who was a student at SMU, mm-hmm. he was like, I don't know anything about that. And I was like, well, I do. Mm-hmm. And so I became the entertainment editor of the Student Voice. Mm-hmm. And from the Student Voice, we then took that paper and it became the Met, mm-hmm. which was an arts and entertainment weekly guide that came out in Dallas, actually all over North Texas. Mm-hmm. It was very much like the Observer, but just all arts and entertainment. Mm-hmm. And from there, we started that in April of 1994. And I decided that, after a year, I was like, I wonder what it would be like to be on the other side. Mm-hmm. And so I started, since I was the calendar editor and the film editor for the paper, anybody who had anything to do with arts and entertainment in all of North Texas had to contact me to get into the paper. Mm-hmm. Wow. And so I asked like 6 publicists who I worked with, very, very closely. I said, do you think I can do what you do? And they were like, oh my God, yes. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. So my last day at the Met was March 31st, mm-hmm. 1995. Mm-hmm. I started my business. I woke up on April Fool's Day and said, well, I guess I have my own business, and this is my start date.
Wow.
April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
And what I've come to understand is that sometimes the most foolish decisions end up being the wisest ones.
Wow.
Because I had like $300 in the bank. I was broke. Mm-hmm. And yet being a publicist is exactly what I needed to be doing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I get to work with journalists like yourself. Yeah. And it has become, 30 years later, it's exactly what I needed to be doing.
So how did you first define your personal brand? Because you're it, right?
Yes, I am it. Mm-hmm. So I love classic film. Mm-hmm. I mean, it has been my guide my whole life. And when I saw the quote from Mae West that said, "It's better to be looked over than overlooked," I was like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
That is the perfect combination of what I do. Because I don't want people to be overlooked. I think it is a shame and it's a sin to say you're the best kept secret in town.
Yeah.
Who wants to be a secret?
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing something, let's let people know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's what I do.
Yes. Yes. And you've won many awards doing what you do, right?
Well, I can't say I've won awards. I've been there when other people have won awards. And, you know, and my number one request or my number one goal is to be thanked at the Oscars.
Okay.
I want to thank my publicist, Kelly Kitchens, and be sure to say my name out loud. Because, oh my goodness, what was her name? Divine Joy Randolph. When she was thanking her publicist, they cut her off right at the moment when she was saying her name. And I'm like, oh no, that poor lady.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yes. But you have been known as a master publicist in the Fort Worth Business Press.
Yes.
And media professional in the Dallas Morning News.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very honored that the journalists who I have worked with have sought me out and really found ways to honor me in writing, which is so it's a dream come true, because normally I'm behind the scenes. I am behind the camera. You don't hear me, or sometimes you hear my laugh, but you don't hear otherwise you don't hear me, right? And so so this is one of those honors as well.
Well, yes, and your laugh did attract me. Honestly, at the Dallas International Film Festival, I saw you year after year.
Yeah.
I was always curious who you were.
I love
your
that.
Personality, your positive attitude, and how you made other people feel.
I love
and
that.
I'm glad that you are sharing your gift
thank you.
Today telling us who you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Yay.
So, Miss Kelly, who were some of your most impressive clients?
Oh boy. I have been very blessed with the fact that I can say that 99% of my clients have been referrals. And I count the referrals that come from journalists particularly as my most treasured, because the journalists who work with me obviously like the way I work with them, and so they want to have other people work with them the way I work with them. And so along the lines, I helped open the Angelica Film Center in Dallas in 2001. Opened up the Angelica Film Center in Plano in 2004. We revitalized the Angelica in Houston. Then I was also the publicist for the Alamo Draft House, the franchise that was here in Dallas, DFW area. I started that in 2012, and until the pandemic, and then things changed. But I count so much of that in the film festivals I've worked with. I've worked with Dallas Video Fest since 1999. Worked with DIF. My husband and I met each other at the Deep Ellum Film Festival in 2005. And that was the last Deep Ellum Film Festival. That was the last one that they had before they became AFI Dallas, and then became Dallas International Film Festival. And so being inside of all of these circles, people, I may not do the entire festival anymore for DIF, but James Faust, who we credit with me and my husband meeting, he calls me whenever a film is coming to town that wants a publicist, wants some extra outside work. And that is such an honor. That is such an honor to be on that short list, because I know it's a very short list of people that they call and want to have represent films that are coming to the festivals. Yeah. So it's a blessing. It's such a blessing. I live a very charmed life. It is crazy. My life has just been crazy. But anyway, so.
Well, yes. And earlier when we were talking, you mentioned 9/11 and how you noticed that people were sort of nesting. Well,
yes. So the Angelica Film Center in Dallas opened August 3rd, 2001. 6 weeks before 9/11 happened. And I mean, we were going and going and going, and then it's like the bottom drops out. And, you know, I made more money in 2001 than I had ever made in my entire life. And then I started losing clients because people were nesting. And they don't remember this, but I can guarantee you, I was working, you know, with the Bathhouse Cultural Center on their Festival of Independent Theaters, was working with a couple of restaurants. People stopped going to movies. They stopped going to theater. They stopped going to restaurants. They could not afford to keep me on anymore. And it was interesting because, like I said, in 2001, I made more money than I ever made. In 2002, I made half of what I made in 2001. 2003, I made half of what I made in 2002. 2004 kind of stayed the same as 2003, and 2005 was very much the same. Getting people to go back out. Yeah. People don't remember that, but it was very evident to me, because everything I was working on were things that were fun, things that, you know, you do because, you know, you don't have to go to a movie, you don't have to go to a play, but you know, life just really shrunk. And so at that time, I took on doctors and lawyers and childcare experts just to keep my business going. And, you know, and I was so thrilled to be able to say, okay, that's behind me. I don't have to do that anymore, because that's not my expertise. My expertise is film, theater, music, art, etc. And, you know, and worthy causes as well. And so being able to go back to that was such a blessing.
Yes, and I bet it was the same feeling after the strikes and the COVID. So,
yeah, COVID was a little bit interesting for me, because as soon as things went whoop, and I know the date. It was March 13th to 2020 was the last time I went and saw a play, and everything just went whoop, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is going to be like 9/11. It's going to be, you know, but what was interesting was I was working with VideoFest, and VideoFest was pivoted to a online film festival, and it was going to be the first weekend of April. Then the Thin Line Film Festival in Denton, which is a documentary film festival, they were also having to pivot, and they were the weekend before VideoFest. And so the guy who actually runs Thin Line Film Festival, Joshua Butler, he had just started a online platform called Falcon Events. And so they were able to take these two film festivals and turn them around and put them online so that people could watch them from their home. And so that was the last weekend of March 2020 and the first weekend of April 2020. And so I got the word out about that. I mean, remember, I'm doing publicity like 2 months out for Video Fest.
Yeah.
And we had to pivot, like that, like 2 weeks before. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, because we did that, those festivals, especially Thin Line, because it was the first one, got national coverage for pivoting and taking it online, saying, no, we are not canceling. We are going to continue, and we're going to continue and do it this way. And so with that, it was really fascinating because then Falcon Events saw what happened when I put that publicity out about the film festivals, that they hired me. And, and so I was talking about what all they were doing, not only for festivals, but for conferences and, across the board, things that people would normally go to, people would fly in for, were now going to be online. As we all remember, being for a really, really, really stupid long time. But it was like, it gave energy to my business to be able to work with them. And so I was, again, it was really amazing how we took those two small film festivals, and these are teeny weeny film festivals, but they got national coverage.
That's amazing.
And so it's almost like you never know what blessing is going to be in those hardships.
Yeah, that's true.
And I look for those blessings deep inside whenever things are, and it's like, because that weekend of that March weekend, that middle of March weekend, I was just like, well, here we go. I'm gonna, may as well hang it up. But no. God had other plans, and so I just rolled with it.
Yes.
So,
and were those your toughest challenges in your career?
Yes, they were. I do have to tell a funny story about another extra challenge. Because, crisis management PR is a totally different animal than what I do.
Okay.
Now, having been a journalist and, I can deal with crisis, but I don't prefer to. Well, so I was working with a small cabaret theater downtown Dallas called Stone Street Theater. It opened up in June of 2005. And the day that it opened, the night that it opened, the people, the restaurant down below had the space, and they were renting it out to the cabaret theater. Well, they had already planned a party for our opening night weekend, so it was going to be after the theater part closed. Well, that night there was a shooting at the Valet. And so at 5 a.m. that morning, because all the journalists had heard from me about Stone Street Theater, and this was on Stone Street, which is a little walkway between Elm and Main, and right where the I is downtown. And so they were calling me, and they're like, do you know about this shooting that happened? It was like at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And I was like, no, what are you talking about? So we had to mobilize immediately and get back downtown and have the guy who was running the theater say, no, this was not a part of the theater. It was after the theater closed. But people were, we had so many cameras downtown talk about the shooting. And and unfortunately, it took that theater down because our last day was March 31st of 2005, going into 2006. But the blessing about it again is that's where we got married. Me and my husband got married in the theater, which is perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
So, it's like,
Yeah.
well, okay.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
It does. It does indeed. It really does. So,
Wow.
Yes.
You have
to look for it sometimes. It's like, maybe we should polish this and find that silver lining.
Yes.
Anyway.
So if PR came with a warning label, what would it say?
Oh boy, that's a really great question. I would say you've really got to know who you are. You have to know your subject. You have to know exactly where you want to go. See the bigger picture and then comb it down.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I always tell my clients is, part of my job is to manage your expectations. And inside of that, I also have to manage my own expectations. And I got that quote from Stan Levinson, who just passed away, like not too long ago. Mm-hmm. He told me that in 2004, when I was looking for extra work and thought, well, maybe I need to go and work with an agency, mm-hmm. and he was working to get the ATPAC, mm-hmm. and all of that whole complex to be his client. And he was like, I could use extra help on this. And for somebody that has worked in, with entertainment as much as I have. And he was like, and I was so excited. I was like making all these plans and stuff. And he said, Kelly, it's my job to manage your expectations. And when he said that, I was just like, I was like, wow, that is huge. Yeah. I mean, those are 3 words, manage your expectations. Mm-hmm. Those are 3 words that just blew my mind. Yeah. And I've been using them ever since. Yeah. It's because it is. Mm-hmm. It's, when I've worked with some authors and they were like, well, do you think Oprah will come back with her show and maybe I'll be on the Oprah? Yeah. It's like, well,
yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And because I hate to disappoint people. It is not what I want to do. I want to spread that joy with them. And so I would rather surprise somebody with something than to say, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't get that.
Yeah, overpromise.
That's not, it's just not me. I learned from my mom. Yeah. It's like, you don't make promises you can't keep. Mm-hmm. And I can't make promises for other people. Mm-hmm. I can put it out there to journalists. Mm-hmm. And, but it's, in the end, it's what they choose to do with it, or what their editors end up saying, okay, are we gonna do this? Mm-hmm. They may be gung ho, but then they're higher ups, and I can't do that.
Yes.
So.
But you're always in service to your client.
Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful quote that you're there to manage their expectations. It makes them feel valued. Yeah. And it's very authentic that you'll do the best you can.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So Kelly, what do you enjoy the most about your career?
Boy, I have so many things I absolutely love, but I think the number one thing is getting to meet and be around so many different people. My world has been opened up so much by just the people, not only the journalists that I meet and get to work with, but my clients. And, it's been such a variety. And that's such a blessing, because I know, I think of my husband, Mark, when he's working, he's a company man. He works at AT&T. Mm-hmm. And so he sees the same people all day, every day. And, and I'm like, wow, mm-hmm. I have such diversity in the people that I get to talk to. So I would say that's my most enjoyable part.
Yes. People are treasures.
Yes,
they?
Yes, they are. Yes. They are, completely.
And it takes a special person to help them share their treasures with the world.
Yeah.
Which is what you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you.
So what advice would you give to someone interested in this career? A youngster, someone in school pursuing this?
Well, first of all, I would say it's important to know the journalist side of things. Having been an editor and a journalist myself, I really know what they need before they even ask. So I think it is important to work on that side of things, to work, in even as an intern or a volunteer or something like that on newspaper staff, on whatever newspapers are left. Anyway, with TV, finding ways to get into the backbone, the behind the scenes of what makes it all work. Because when I started my business, I worked for a few different agencies along the way. And what I really learned was that to lean on my knowledge of what I needed as a journalist. The photography, you want to have good photography, and you want to have the, where it says IMG_432 as a JPEG title, you want to change that to be the photo caption, and then to have the, photo by, and have that be the title, that file name, so that it goes with the picture. Because if somebody downloads a picture from a Dropbox or something, and it goes into their computer, how are they going to find it if they don't have, if it doesn't say the name of the film, or the film festival, and then what it is, so that, so just having a little bitty knowledge about things like that is so important. And you really understand it from having been on the other side of what you need. So that would be, probably my number one thing.
The best advice.
Yeah.
To do some research before they delve into bigger projects.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. And what's the one thing people should avoid when building a personal brand?
This is interesting. I would say to really know who you are. I mean, and know what you're good at, and know what you're, and then keep your strengths and keep those solid, and let the other people, the things you're maybe weaker on, to let other people take that on. And I think it's really important to also, if you're building a brand, to listen to experts, to people who are coming in, people like me coming in to say, okay, you're probably not going to get TV coverage for this kind of thing, but maybe we can for this kind of thing, and to, again, manage expectations. I think it's important to manage your own expectations with all of that, and know, but also to put yourself in places where you want to be. Meaning, like, if you're a filmmaker and you want to be a filmmaker, volunteer for a film festival. See how that all works. And, be around other filmmakers and talk to them, or, and the people that are working with them. I think that is so important. And volunteering inside of an area where you're interested in is not just going to help you, but it's going to help that organization and the other people that are working with it.
Yes, absolutely. People helping each other.
Yes.
Learning.
You never know who you're going to meet. Yeah. Networking is a huge, huge part of what I do. I mean, I am Kelly Kitchens because that was my main name. I had, so I had my business for 11 years before I met my husband. And I would love to be Kelly Wickersham.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. That's so Jane Austen. That's so beautiful. I'm Kelly Kitchens because everybody remembers it. And it was, it's a brand that I already established. And, and people remember, it's crazy how many people, and my whole life, people have called me Kelly Kitchens. Like as if though it's one word. Instead of, it's like Kelly Kitchens. But, and so I've learned to embrace that because I hated my name growing up. It was really a hard name to have as a kid. So as a chubby little kid. So because think of all the things, don't think of all the things that rhyme with Kelly and then go with Kitchens.
So Kelly, speaking of your childhood, tell me a little bit more about the berets you wear, because ever since I met you a few years ago, I've never seen you without one.
Well, so I mentioned that, having the name Kelly Kitchens growing up was really tough. And I was teased terribly for being a chubby little girl, with the name Kelly Kitchens. And I figured out when in ninth grade, I was like, dressing all preppy and stuff because this is the early 80s. And I was like, this isn't me. I found a beret, and I think it was like at Macy's or something. And I was like, oh, I love this. And I started wearing berets. I went to vintage clothing stores and nothing would fit me except for scarves, necklaces, earrings, and brooches. And I was like, okay, this is me. I'm going to dress up what I have to wear because it was so limiting on style for my size. And I was carrying hat boxes as purses, and and I was like, and people didn't know how to take that in school. And so, but they were making fun of me for that, but they were making fun of me for things I was choosing to wear, not for things I had not chosen.
Oh, I see.
And that gave me so much confidence. And what I've noticed is that when I go places and I'm wearing a hat or I'm wearing something that's a little over the top, and I feel like, with my laugh, I have been given permission to be over the top. And I'm grateful to God for giving me this laugh, to give me that, that red carpet out for this is who you are. But what I've noticed is it gives other people permission to also be who they are. And to try it on. And sometimes it's not for people. Sometimes they will be like, oh, that hat doesn't look good on me. But I'm like, half the time I'm like, just continue to wear it. Because you will embrace it. It will be something that you embrace. And so that it's not just the beret, but that first beret was it was like an open door to who I am. And that was when I was 14. That was a long time ago.
Wow.
But I love fashion. I love classic films. I love classic fashions and everything about that. And it gives me an opportunity to express that. And here's another thing is, my dad took me to a seminar, the How to Win Friends and Influence People seminar with his sales team. I was the youngest person there. I was in 11th grade at this point. And what I learned was were conversation starters. And so I wear conversation starters. I'll wear a brooch that says Nat King Cole. I'll wear a skirt that, and if someone is drawn to that, then they'll be like, oh, I love Nat King Cole, or something like that. And then that gives us something extra to talk about other than the weather or the traffic or whatever. And I'm like, that was such a gift That was
Yeah.
such a gift,
Yes.
you know, that my dad gave me.
Yes, that's
So,
beautiful. And you know, when I met you a few years ago at an event at this, I think it was some kind of fish place, you were wearing a cameo. And I believe it was a cameo necklace. That instantly attracted me. And I kept staring at that. I think you probably thought I was staring.
No.
But it was something about the cameo. Something just warm. Something that
I love that.
set some kind of legacy. So you're right. People can be attracted to certain things that you wear. And it may invoke some kind of emotion in them.
Yes. And the connection. You know, even if it's, you know, like just the curiosity of it. You know, and I love stories. I will tell you a story about anything that I'm wearing because I have a story connected with all of it. And so, you know, I mean, I've never met a stranger. I've just met people that aren't friends yet. They will be, but not yet. But they will be
in time, in their own time.
So, but that's a big part of who I am.
Yes. So speaking of who you are, what is one of your most favorite quotes that you live by?
My favorite quote that I found when I was in college is from Anne Sexton, and it's, "The joy that isn't shared dies young." And so it fits so well with who I am. It fits so well with what I do, because if you stop telling your story, it diminishes and it dies. But if you continue to tell your story and bring joy, then, you know, why not?
It evolves.
Why not?
That's beautiful.
So,
well, Miss Kelly Kitchens. It was truly an honor to have you on our show.
Thank
you.
you.
Such an inspiration.
Thank you.
And so reflective too. And I just can't wait to review this. And I've just learned so much from you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It is such an honor. Like I said, normally I'm behind the camera watching my clients do this.
And now you're in the spotlight. You get to shine and the world will know who you are.
So I appreciate you asking me so much.
Thank you
Such
so
an honor.
much. And I wish you happy holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
And we're looking forward to 2026.
Yes, me too. Me too. Thank you.